News Channel 25 Night Beat.
Structures, homes, buildings in the city of West have just imploded because of this.
Man, pretty amazing. 10 years ago, we saw that. The gang's back together, the old team here. We have Bruce Geetson, who was the anchor back then, and Harder, who still does a lot here on 25 ABC. And of course, I'm Matt Hines. And we went through a night then, didn't we?
We did indeed.
It was one of those breaking news nights you never forget. It was one that we ended up on the air all night long. Not to make it about us, but it was one of those things where everyone wanted to know what was happening, what was this, what caused this massive destruction.
Totally unexpected to happen. I remember we'd all gone on our dinner break after the 6 o'clock news and was coming back to the station, normal pace, and my wife called and said, I think there was an earthquake here. And I said, we don't have earthquakes. And she said, well, one of my friends was eating at a restaurant in Hillsboro and the chandelier started shaking. So something happened. I said, well, let me call the newsroom. And I called our producer, Chelsea, in the newsroom. And the scanners in the background were going like crazy. And she was screaming into the phone, where are you? There's been a big explosion. And I said, I'm 5 minutes away. Let's get everybody in, start calling people in. And that was, I think, about 7:45. And things just got bigger from there.
Well, you met me in the parking lot, and our running thing was, everything stops if there's a major story, if the Alico building blows up. That's just what we would say. And so you come in and go, there's been an explosion. I said, you're kidding. Right? It was the Alico, right? No, there's been an explosion. And then from then on, it was strictly business, trying to get as much information as we could to tell folks what had happened. But it was interesting, the stories we were hearing in the newsroom from witnesses. And one phone call I took from a lady who was on the interstate when it happened, and she was in one lane, and she said literally her car was moved to the other lane by the impact.
Yeah, it's just pretty amazing. And both of y'all were already on. I was still at home when all this was happening, and I had infants at the time.
Yeah.
And I was going through the channels, and I say, Bruce and Ann are on. Is that a promo? And I turn up the volume, and I'm like, ooh, that's not a promo. So I was like, well, I got to go because I heard y'all say the word explosion. So I back out. My mother-in-law was actually visiting at the time. Actually backed into her car because I was in such a hurry. I forgot her car was there. But yeah, I got to the station here, and our news director at the time, he greeted me with a hazmat book and said, we need a forecast about the hazardous materials here. I was like, oh, okay, this just got really big. And then I started queuing in on what y'all were saying, and we started doing live coverage, not just of the news, but of weather too, because we had a cold front come in that day or that evening, and it was going to shift all the winds from south to north. And so I called the Weather Service. They modeled some data for us, and they had the triage unit not too far away on the football field, and they moved it because of forecasting, and they knew that that front was going to come in, and that could have blown some of those chemicals their way.
In that kind of a situation, you have everybody who's available to come into the newsroom to work, and you start calling in reporters who had just gotten off, and had a night side reporter, a newer reporter, had been here a couple of months, Michael, and he said, Michael, get up there as fast as you can and start sending stuff back to us. And he said, okay. And he'd never been in a situation like that. So we're trying to guide him, talk to him on the phone. Then we went on the studio, came to the studio here, and we couldn't keep talking to him. And he called us back about 15 minutes later when he got up there. He says, I'm inside the area. I'm at the command center where it was awesome. Start shooting some video, talk to anybody you can. And he called back a couple minutes later and he said, I didn't bring any SD cards to record my video on. And we're like, okay. And I said, record with your phone, shoot with your phone, everything you can get, just shoot as much as you can. And he said, he called back a couple minutes later, says, my phone's dead. I have a charge on it. We're kind of, oh, this is a big learning moment. We had other people going though, and pretty soon they blocked off the area and it was hard to get in. But as hectic as it was here, it was 10 times more hectic there on the site from people we were talking to, and we were using our Rolodexes and calling everybody we knew with the police department and the mayor's office and Frank Patterson with emergency management and all those people just trying to get information. You get in a situation like that, and we have a responsibility, and I know you guys agree, to let people know what is happening, because we know that you're on the edge of your seat wanting as much information as you can. We know that something just big happened, and so it's our responsibility to try to get to you. And so that's what we were doing for a long time.
of course, we had lived through the Murrah building explosion, and I think a lot of thoughts were, what was the cause of this? What started this whole horrific event? And of course, it takes days. News is one of those things. It takes days to develop and to hear and to understand what's happening. And of course, it was even days before all the bodies were recovered. And of course, I really think, because it affected me personally, a very good friend of mine, Ken Harris, his son was Lucky Harris, was one of the firefighters who died, a volunteer firefighter for West, but he was actually on staff at Dallas for the Dallas Fire Department. And he rushed to the fire like so many of those brave first responders did, not knowing what was going to happen, within minutes.
Well, and I also remember y'all called everyone back in, and the phones. I will never forget the phones just ringing off the hook. And it was Germany, Australia, England. I'm talking all over the world. It captured not only everyone here in Texas, all the Dallas stations were covered, Austin and Houston, they all brought their helicopters in and everything, but it gripped the world. So I'm answering phones. They're like, hey, can you be live with this? I'm like, well, I don't know exactly what happened. So I was pulling reporters, talk to them and say what you know and talk to them. So again, it was a world event. Everyone was watching us at that point in time.
Just a hunger for information, as we all had that same hunger to try to get to the bottom of what had happened. Of course, the citizen journalist, really played a role in this as well, when we began to get the video that folks had been able to take on their phones.
And that was still in its infancy at the time. We
Very
didn't have
much
all-
at the beginning stage.
Because it happened about 7:45 at night. 7:40, I think, was the first explosion. We went on the air about 8:10 and just stayed on and stayed on. But, we're having to manage the incoming calls and make outgoing calls to try to get more information and find out. There were lots of rumors going around. At one point, they said 60 to 70 people may have been killed. And we're like, oh, my goodness, West is not a big city. And so we feel for those families and all the people who were up there. And then we started hearing more. But I don't think it was until a day or two later when we actually got accurate counts on it. And but it's just the sadness there, and being respectful and empathetic as well, because they can't imagine. Those guys were heroes going and trying to put out the fire, knowing the danger there. And then, of course, the explosion. And every building on the east side of I-35, we were told, had some damage. The school building close to it was picked up and moved 4 feet.
The shockwave just...
The shock
And
moved it.
The only building they could find to do the press, the media updates the next day was the auction barn just on the west side of I-35. That was the only one they deemed safe enough to hold by that time what were 100, 150 media from all over Texas and New York and Los Angeles. I mean, it was a national story.
Yeah, I think there was a press conference at midnight that night, that first night. And again, we were hungry for anything they could officially tell us. But as you can see, it was at night. And it was the next day when we began to see the images of the destruction, the homes that were obliterated. I remember that apartment building that was very near. It was just totally blown out. Of course, the West Rest Haven, the nursing home, and getting those folks to safety. And just the massive number of injuries. And then the whole aspect of the story of getting those folks to care, because there were hospitals that were in play, from Dallas Parkland to John Peter Smith in Fort Worth, Temple, Scott and White, and of course both the Waco hospitals were taking in injured, a lot of glass injuries. Folks would go to the window, oh, there's a fire, and then the explosion just sent glass right into their faces.
Because it wasn't immediate. You could see the explosion, but it took a while for the compression to get to where you were 100 or 500 yards away or half a mile away.
Yeah, the whole physics of that,
People on the south side of Dallas felt it. Our wind was from the south that day, so I didn't feel anything here.
Right.
And you said Dana was up in Hillsboro, correct?
Yeah, her friend of hers was.
A friend of hers. So that was, the main concussion went north.
Right.
If we would have had a north wind already, that would have all come down toward Waco.
Good point.
So that would have all been down I-35.
But windows blown out as far away as Axtell, and I mean miles away. So the impact was what, like, how many? 2 tons of dynamite, just an amazing amount of of explosion power.
And we didn't know exactly what fertilizers were in there, what chemicals were all in
Exactly.
there. So that's why it was,
Yeah.
okay, what is there going to be a chemical cloud that's going to start going anywhere? That was a big safety
where you
concern. That
come
would have
into
really
play.
broadened
Right.
everything.
Right, right. And well, because our first concern is public safety, is, you know, the people immediately that night, you know, what kind of danger were they facing? As the days went on, though, and the aftermath and just the way Central Texas, who they always do, they come to the aid. And the folks in West that showed such courage and grit and rebuilding their community. I remember one of my favorite pictures of us is that we all have our little T-shirts that say "God bless West," and West really did step up for something as horrific as this to happen. That community really gained a lot of respect, I think, from a lot of people. Another aspect of that, remember a little Parker Pujovsky? The little son of one of the firefighters who died, Joey Pujovsky, and they raised money to rebuild a park. And that was one of my favorite stories in the aftermath, was the dedication of that little play park. Thanks to him, and they held a hot dog dinner and raised $83,000 at a hot dog dinner. So that just showed the compassion that Central Texas had, and really the world, for what happened at West.
You know, and all the officials up there, Tommy Muska, the mayor, and they'd never been through anything like this before, and so they were flying the plane while they were building it, so to speak, to use an old term, but they're trying to figure out what to do, where to find people. Some people were on search and rescue, some people were on medical attention. I remember in my 33 years in broadcasting, that is the only time I ever did a live interview on TV at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And that was with Marty Crawford, the school superintendent, because I saw him on CNN at 2:50. And I said, well, if he's still up, I don't want to wait, but if he's still up, I'm going to call him. And so I called him, and he did a live interview with us at 3 o'clock in the morning and talked about the damage to the school, what they've seen. That was someone on the scene who was authorized to talk, and so that was valuable information even at that time of the morning at 3 o'clock. And so, and I complimented, after all this was over, the local officials, because they gave preference on coverage to the local outlets, to the local stations, because, and Tommy Muska told me, he says, because we know you're going to be here. You're not going to be out of here in 3 or 4 days like a lot of the national media, and you care about our people, and we care about you, and we want our people to be informed. So we were really a tool for them to get their messages out, and we're happy to do that, because again, we had the responsibility of conveying correct information to the viewers who were tuning in.
All right. During your time here at KXXV, where does this rank on the news story?
Well, it was one of the top 3 or 4. I mean, we had the two Fort Hood shootings, and then we had this, had some tornado.
Yeah, we had a lot of presidential. Remember, we had a lot of presidential visits coming for the wrong reasons for that.
Yeah, but as far as a breaking story, the West explosion probably is at the top of my television career.
Yeah,
So
solemn occasion, but it's good to see y'all again. It's good to go through memories like this, and it's good to let people know that we still care about the community and that we're still here, and that's, again, a solemn occasion, but it's interesting to see how things have changed over 10 years, but you always remember those pictures and just what was in your heart at the time.
Yeah, West is a totally different place today than it was 10 years ago today, but but again, our hearts go out to those families who are still grieving.
And that doesn't
the
go
loss
away.
of that doesn't go away. And and folks who may still bear scars today from that night and that explosion. But the good news that came out of that, laws were enacted in order to make sure that storage of these kind of chemicals are more regulated. I mean, there were a lot of things we discovered after this that were not in place that should have been. And even the fact that in West, when this fertilizer plant was in '62, it was in the middle of nowhere out in a field, and then the city just started building around it, not knowing the dangers. So, the one good thing that can come from a tragedy like this is that we learn and we make some changes.
you know, we always used to tell the young reporters when they'd come in, and being the elder statesman in the newsroom, we'd say, don't ever underestimate what a privilege it is for people to invite you into their homes. And we truly believe that. We have to earn your trust. You have to like us, and we have to be genuine and stuff. But that's a responsibility that we hold close to our heart, and we appreciate that every time that we hear that from viewers. And I think that's universal in television. But just the fact that it is a privilege to have you invite us in your home, especially on an occasion like that.
And that's what I always say. Thank you for trusting us.